Okay. Hello. I'm here. You're here. So let's talk about hiking. Today on the menu, I have the Peaks of the Balkans trail. And to keep traditions alive on this channel, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know before you hike this trail. So let's get into it. I'm also eating a boterham met choco. It's basically just bread with chocolate spread. I'm hungry. Join me on the journey through the boterham. Okay, let's get into it. So I made a note on my phone and I collected all the information I think you will need on this trail, which consists of 4 tips and then 12 questions I got from you guys, which are actually valid questions and which will help you know everything about this trail. Boom. Let's start with the tips. Tip 1 is to buy a SIM card at the airport. Just when you arrive, immediately buy a SIM card. For the time that you're staying there, you will need a new SIM card, which you can just easily buy at the airport. At the airport, there's a small shop, and there you can buy a SIM card for 15 euros, which gives you 500 gigabytes of data for internet. So voila, you're safe. And that lasts 2 weeks. You don't get many data for text messages or calling, but actually everybody in Montenegro or Kosovo or Albania use WhatsApp. So you won't need it. Just tell your friends at home that they need to contact you through WhatsApp and you will be fine. Voila. Second tip is to take cash. Unlike trails in Scandinavia, like Sweden, Norway, whatever, this trail doesn't have many places where you can pay by card. In Kosovo and Montenegro, you will need euros, and in Albania, you will need lek. I know that in Plav, which is in Montenegro, they have an ATM, so voila, there you can get cash, or just before the trail, get enough cash and you will be fine. But take cash. The third one is a small one, but it's one that I would have liked to know, which is take gloves and a hat. If you've seen my video of the Peaks of the Balkans, you know that it was quite a last-minute trip, which meant that I just looked up the weather in Podgorica, which is not in the mountains. Just be aware that the temperatures in the mountains are severely lower than in Podgorica. So voila, just know that you might need them. We're already at the 4th tip, and this is also a small one because it's only for the people who will hike this trail very early or very late. And the tip is to take the winter route between Theth and Valbona. Between Theth and Valbona, there's 2 trails, a summer trail and a winter trail. And the summer trail, in terms of snow, is quite dangerous if the snow hasn't melted yet. If you're early or late, there might be too much snow on the summer trail and then it gets very dangerous. Don't be fooled, people have passed away on this stretch of the hike, so please take this seriously. But the good news is that there's a winter trail, and I have even better news because when I hiked the trail and I had to take the winter trail, I couldn't find any information nor a map on the internet. But I managed to find the winter trail and I was trekking myself with my Garmin InReach Mini. This is not sponsored, but it was the Garmin InReach Mini. And I've tracked it, so I am gonna make a map and I will link it in the description down below. So if you wanna hike the winter trail between Theth and Valbona, I will give you the map. So if you're not safe now, there's no excuse. Then we move on to the questions. I have the feeling I'm going super fast, but we're at the questions already. Question number 1 is how to get there. There's many options. But I would say the easiest option is to either fly to Podgorica and take a bus from there that goes to Plav. There's like 3 buses a day, I think, going to Plav. Then from Plav, you can start hiking. Or you fly to Tirana, and from Tirana, you can also take a bus, but that one goes to Theth. That's only 1 a day. So very early in the morning, there's a bus going from Tirana to Theth. I would say that those two options are the easiest ones. But during the trail, you will pass some asphalt roads, so you can always take a taxi there or maybe even a bus. I will list here now all the places where you will pass an asphalt road. So if you want to start at another point, you can just take a taxi to one of these places and voila, you can also start the trail from there. Second question is how to get the permits. The border crossing permits. This seems to be the talk of the town when you talk to hikers that are going to hike the peaks of the Balkans, because indeed you need a border crossing permit for every border that you cross. It is the law. Just between us. When I did the trail, which was May 2023, I did not see anyone nor anything at the borders. I am not taking any accountability if you go to the trail without any borders and you end up in jail. Because that can happen. Voila, I'm just, because I get the question a lot, this is my experience. However, the law is that you need a border crossing permit. Now, if you have to do it yourself, I would say don't do that, because then you need to call the police of Montenegro, Albania, Kosovo, lots of headaches because it's languages that you probably don't speak. There is an organization that can do it for you, and the one that I know best is Zbulo. You can just send them an email and ask them to get your border permits ready. They will take care of everything. You just need to pay them. Voila. You don't have to make awkward phone calls, call again, get emails, do all the paperwork. You don't need to do that. So Zbulo can take care of that for you. I would also say it's a good way to support Zbulo because it's an amazing organization that provided me with a lot of information on like snow levels on the trail, and they're super helpful. So if there's an organization that you want to support and that you want to give your money to, this is a good one. It's good people, mountain people, and they're just very helpful. So voila, you're not giving your money to shit. We love to give our money to not shit. The third question is, Floor, you are a woman alone. Were you safe? I would say yes. On the trail, there hasn't been one moment where I felt unsafe or more unsafe than on other trails. Actually, I found that, okay, come on, we're talking about women, a woman alone, so I'm sorry men, but I'm gonna talk about the topic of men and the threat that they can be on the trail. I'm not talking about all men, but voila, it's a thing, it's a topic. If you don't want to hear about this, then just skip to the next question. So I have to say that the men on this trail, the men that I met, they were lovely. Never have I felt any intentions of them to flirt, to make me uncomfortable, whatever. Nothing. Liberating. I have to say, liberating. I have to say, when I got to Theth at the end, I don't know what was happening that day, but that day, in terms of this topic, not nice. I think I got followed 4 times by 4 different men, not in a creepy way, but in a oh, come on way. But on the trail, just really nice. Of course, there's always a risk, but that's also on other trails. So as a woman alone, yes. The next question is, did you feel safe in terms of animals? And then more specifically, dogs and bears. So first, dogs. There are a lot of stray or farm dogs on the trail, and in my experience, they are just all very lovely dogs. I had a good time with them. I even hiked some parts of the trail with them. They were lovely. I was a bit startled by the questions that I got from people that asked about the dogs, because I didn't know, and I did not see any dangerous, aggressive dogs on the trail. So in terms of dogs, in my experience, completely fine. In terms of bears, however, no, I didn't see a bear. Voila, that's my answer to the questions. Bears are fine on this trail. There are not many, and the bears that are there are very shy of humans. Normally, you won't even see them, you won't even encounter them, it'll be completely fine. Just look up what you have to do if you encounter a dog that's aggressive or a bear. Informed people, I believe, they stay alive. But 99.9999999% sure that you won't encounter any bears on this trail. So don't worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about a thing. Next question is question 4, and that is where to buy gas. There is a clear distinction between 2 types of gas. You have the ones that you screw, the ones that I use, that you screw your stove on and that just give you gas like that. And then there's like the puncture gas thingies that once, boom, you have to puncture it. You have to have a stove that can puncture in the metal of the gas. This one, the puncture one, you find everywhere. You can even find it in Theth, you can find it in Podgorica, Shkoder, Tirana. A lot of places have these. So if you have a stove that works like that, you won't have a problem finding gas. If you use the other type of gas, then don't make the mistake of assuming that there will be a gas canister in Shkoder. Because no, they don't sell it. So just very important, if you have a stove that uses the twist-on gas, then the only options where you can buy the gas are Podgorica and Tirana. Now you know, and now you won't make the same mistake that I made. Question 5. What about the road walking? I'm not gonna lie, the trail is beautiful, but in Kosovo there is some road walking. That's the bad news, there is some road walking, but the good news is that you can easily take a transfer to avoid these road walkings. And I have to admit that I did that. So I will just tell you now where that is, so you can also do that if you want to do it. So if you want to take that shortcut, just listen closely, because it's between Restaurant Telikeni and Drelaj. It's just road. It's an asphalt road. When I was there, it was raining. So I took a transfer, and how I did that was that I called the guest house in Drelaj, and they came and picked me up in Restaurant Telikeni. Then there is also an asphalt road between Reke e Allages and Rugova Camp. That's a bit shorter. You can get a transfer either from Reke e Allages. I'm having trouble saying that. Sorry. Or at Rugova Camp, you can also get a transfer. Just ask. The people are lovely on these hikes, so don't be shy, just ask and they will help you. Voilà! Question number 6 is, what about wild camping? Can you wild camp? Is it possible? Did you do it? I did do wild camping, and you can wild camp everywhere. However, of course, there are some rocky parts there you cannot wild camp, but throughout the whole walk, I would say there's many opportunities to wild camp. So if you've wild camped before, you won't have any troubles finding camping spots. However, I would also kinda advise you to sleep in at least some guest houses. The guest houses on this trail are amongst the nicest guest houses or huts I've ever slept in. The people are so kind, the food is so nice, the views, the accommodation, wow. Voila, and it's not even that expensive. So if you want to support local economy and you just want to have the opportunity of a little bit of luxury on the trail, then just take a couple of nights in the guest houses. I would really recommend it. I've really enjoyed that. Then we have question number 7. Which is the trail well waymarked? I have to say, not really. Take a GPS because you will definitely need it. Maybe take some maps because if your GPS fails, then at least you have a map. It is waymarked. It's waymarked in white and red. You can follow it, but if you blindly trust on these signals, you will get lost. Especially in Kosovo, sometimes the trail is just hard to find and you easily make mistakes. Sometimes you're like, am I even on the trail? Is this the trail or not? Or blah, 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 blah. Just mentally prepare for a couple of times where you won't find the trail very easily. You'll get lost a couple of times, but voila, you will find the way back if you have a GPS. Boom. Question number 8 is where to resupply. You can resupply at Plav. There you can do a decent resupply. There's a supermarket. Voila, you can really do a big resupply there. Also, Theth has a supermarket, but that's really not big or something. You can buy some stuff there. They have ice cream, but voila, it's not very, very, very big or whatever. So you have Plav and then not really another option. But every guest house you will pass serves dinner, and every guest house that you will pass has the option to take lunch with you in the morning that you can eat at noon. In theory, if you sleep in the guest houses, you don't even have to take food. Take some bars, but voila. So what I did is I did a combination of my own food, which I bought in Belgium just beforehand, and the food in the guest houses. I think it was like 60-40% that I divided it. So 60% my own food and then 40% food of the guest houses. And the balance for me was quite okay. Then the 9th question is, how hard is the trail? I have to say it's physically quite demanding. The elevation levels on this trail are something. You will have to climb and descend a mountain each day. Then that, in combination with the trail not being super clear all the time, makes it harder. But I also think that my experience was a bit harder because I was so early in the season that there was still a lot of snow, and in snow there's no trail, there weren't any footsteps most of the time. So I had the difficulty of having many patches of snow without footsteps, so I had to look for the trail myself and just kind of guess it. So I think my experience was harder on the trail, and the trail is actually not that difficult. Because for me, okay, the GR20 was the most difficult because I think it was the most difficult, but in my experience, this was the most difficult trail I ever did because I struggled so much with the snow and the weather and everything. But I think if you go in June, July, August, you'll be fine. Voila, it's not the easiest trail out there. That's also true. Question number 10 is a short one. Is there a lot of water on the trail? Where do you find water? Ba-ba-da-bum. Just take a water filter with you and you'll be fine. You pass a lot of streams where you can fill up your water. You can see that on the map where you pass the streams. There's a lot of streams on this trail. I don't think many people experience a shortage of water on this trail. And then we're already at the last question, which is also a very short one, and that is, what about the language barriers? I have to say the language barrier is present. The people there are super kind, don't worry. They're super kind and they will do everything to help you and to understand you. But there's not a real common knowledge of English in the population in the population of the people there. Especially the older generations don't really know English. The younger generations are starting to pick up English more. But the language barrier is definitely present, so I would recommend to look up some words, to just know how to say hi, bye, thank you. Just also to show respect, of course. Just hope that there's internet and you can just translate some stuff on Google Translate, because that also helped me a lot of the times. That's on the language barriers. I will do a double check on my list, but I think I said everything. Yes, I talked about everything. If you have more questions, put them in the comments below. I will try to answer them. Have fun on this trail. It's very beautiful. I have to say the nature on this trail is like a combination of previous trails that I did. So sometimes I had a feeling that I was in Scandinavia, then sometimes I had a feeling I was around the Mont Blanc, then Scotland was there as well. Like wow. It's really beautiful. It is physically quite demanding, but you get something in return for it. People there as well are so kind. I really think you will have an amazing experience if you go there. Oh, also, I'm planning on making a little guide for this trail, just an easy guide that you can download online, but I'm still working on it. So maybe you see this video in the future. Hey, future! And then maybe it will already be linked in the description down below, so you can check that out. But if you see it now in the present, I'm sorry, it's not available already. Have a lovely life! And I see you maybe on the next hike or the next video or the next whatever. I think I said everything. Bye!